KwaZulu-Natal's newly appointed MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure, Meyer, says he's in talks with various stakeholders to establish a task team to fight against construction mafias in the province. Now, these groups have been sabotaging private and public infrastructure projects across the country. The gangs use mafia-style tactics to hijack construction sites, demanding money or protection fees from contractors. Now, the new MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure has vowed to fight these extortionists. Construction projects, including the building of schools and roads, have been delayed. One such project is the refurbishment of Menzi High School in Umlazi, which was delayed for 2 years due to criminal obstruction. Let's bring in KwaZulu-Natal Public Works and Infrastructure MEC Meyer, who joins us now. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, as we look at your commitment, you vowed not to accede to the dictates and demands of the so-called construction mafia holding the province at ransom. It's quite a daunting task. Are you ready?
Absolutely. And I'm under no illusions that anything in this department that I've just been brought into is going to be easy. And this will be a task. But the political will is there, not only from myself, but by from the new unity government within KZN, that we have to bring back investment, we have to bring back development, and we have to rebuild KwaZulu-Natal. And to do that, we have to stand up to bullies. KwaZulu-Natal is not a province that allows laws to be broken, and we're not going to be a province that allows bullying anymore. And therefore, we are committed to work with those who want to work with us legally and stand up against those who want to bully us into submission.
So as we learn that the so-called construction mafia are estimated to cost the economy around 68 billion rand, how would you assess the ripple effect on construction companies and the entire sector as we talk about this dent in the economy?
Well, there's a couple of large construction companies in South Africa that now refuse to come into KwaZulu-Natal and do work here. They no longer bid for contracts, whether it be government or private contracts. And companies will not come back here. You know, a lot of companies left after the riots and hasn't reinvested or come back to KwaZulu-Natal. And one of the reasons they give is exactly this, that it costs so much to now build, to construct new factories, and the risk is so high for them, they'd rather go to other provinces. And the example you mentioned of Menzi High School is another good example, how projects in this province are now delayed sometimes 2, sometimes even as much as 5 years because of this. It means that at the end of the day, the communities are suffering because the services supposed to be delivered by these projects that the government builds can no longer be delivered to the community, or they cost us a lot more, which means we can actually do less, and therefore it's communities on the ground. The very communities that this construction mafia say they represent, it's those communities that suffer at the end of the day. We're a province that desperately needs investment. We've suffered under the floods, the riots, and so many other things that happened to our province, and we need to rebuild. And so much of the flood damage is still around that we cannot rebuild, partly because of the problems we're having with these guys.
MEC, you say that you won't allow the province to be bullied, and if we take a look at the grouping you're talking about here, you're going to be taking on taxi warlords, unscrupulous business people, and those who call themselves war veterans who've been unleashing a reign of terror on these construction sites in KwaZulu-Natal since around 2014. I mean, that's quite a substantial time. And extortion in the sector has reached worryingly high levels, derailing and delaying projects, as you speak about Menzi High, but with no signs of this trend reversing. What exactly is your plan?
Well, first of all, that part of it is a law enforcement matter. And we will be engaging with both law enforcement nationally, which is why we're desperately waiting for the president to announce his cabinet so that we can engage with whoever is going to be the minister of police. But also, you know, the unity government in KZN is taking this so seriously and taking law enforcement so seriously that the Premier, Premier Ntuli, has put community safety and liaison under his own wing. He is now going to be managing that department as well. And therefore, I'll be working very closely with the Premier from a law enforcement side. But also, we will be forming a high-level task team that will include law enforcement, it will include construction companies, civic organizations, CPFs, the community policing forums, and the communities themselves. and legitimate business people who do construction, to bring them all in and discuss how can we approach this problem and how can we deal with this. I most certainly do not want to escalate the violence in the province. If anything, we want to de-escalate it. We want a peaceful province. And I'm not looking to declare war on anyone because, no one wins through violence. But we are trying to find ways that we can work with legitimate business people and improve the security on the sites. And if people want to break the law, then they're going to have to face the might of the law through our police agencies and the courts.
Yeah, because some experts in the space have warned that despite your commitment to solving the province's issues, construction mafias are not likely to disappear anytime soon. What, in your view, do you think will signal that there is some success with the work that you're planning to embark on?
Well, I think, first of all, would be engagement. Like I said, if people want to engage with us peacefully and legitimately, and come with legitimate concerns, we are very happy as a government to listen and to talk and find ways that we can all work together for the betterment of our community. And that will be the first step for us. But this is primarily a law enforcement matter. So once we've engaged with law enforcement, and I've already been in touch with a couple of the task team members that's working specifically with this, then we'll be able to map a way more clearly forward. Right now, we're still just trying to find a way to peacefully engage. But we also have to protect our projects. There are many building projects still on site, and we need to make sure that they're all safe and that the workers at work there are safe.
What challenges are you preempting here? And of course, I ask you this because I would imagine that you're putting a plan in place to mitigate these challenges.
Yeah, I think one step in the right direction already is that we now have the political will to deal with this problem. And I think that was something that might have been a bit lacking in the past. So I think once that is in place and you have the commitment going forward, that will really help a lot. One of our challenges will be the fear within the community. And we know from where we have gangsterism across the country, the community is quite rightly scared to stand up or to tell the police who these people are. And this fear is very understandable. If you fear for your own life, then you protect your family in whichever way you can. And sometimes, being quiet about the injustices or the criminality we see is the best way we can protect our families. So we do understand that. So the best way we can go forward is by working very closely with communities, building a trust relationship and rebuilding the trust between government and the communities so that they can see we are coming actually to bring contracts to the communities, to develop our communities and to also give work and employment to people in the communities. Because this is obviously what the so-called construction mafia promises. And once we can rebuild that trust relationship, but that will take some while to do between us and the community.